Okay, with a great pleasure, I would like to welcome you all in my presentation. Today, I'm going to talk about the existing scenario of human snow leopard conflict and the management experience of Annapurna conservation in Nepal. Actually, a snow leopard is a vulnerable big cat that exists in the 12 countries of the Central Asia, in the mountain region of the Asian countries. And this is included in the appendix first of the CITES because of the threats of poaching and the illegal trade occurred on the species. And this is also the species conserved by the National Park and Wildlife Conservation Act in Nepal. And in Nepal, snow leopard distributed all over. As actually snow leopard distributed from east to west. And whole habitat of the snow leopard is divided in three different conservation landscape: eastern conservation landscape, central conservation landscape, and the western conservation landscape. We have declared about 13 protected area within the snow leopard habitat in the mountains of Nepal. And this is the number of the individuals estimated population of the snow leopard in Nepal. The snow leopard population in Nepal ranges between 300 to 400 individuals. And out of them, the highest density is believed to exist in the western conservation landscape of the snow leopard habitat in Nepal, and the lowest density is estimated to be in the central conservation landscape where I have been working. This lies in the Annapurna and the Manaslu conservation area. And this is just a rough estimation. This is not a robust estimation of the snow leopard population in Nepal. This is based on the different studies conducted by different scientists in different time. So the government of Nepal is just planning to update the snow leopard population in Nepal this year. Yes, now I'm coming to the Annapurna Conservation Area. This is one of the largest protected area in Nepal. And it has a very wide altitudinal range. It ranges from 800 meter to 8,000 meter, and it has a very wide range of biological diversity, and it hosts about 125 species of mammals and more than 500 species of birds, and it hosts about 32 individuals of the snow leopards. This is the latest study conducted in Annapurna Conservation Area, and the estimation of the snow leopard population is based on the genetic study conducted in Annapurna Conservation Area. Now I'm coming to the conflict. You can see through different images from the Annapurna Conservation Area. In the right-hand side, you can see the livestock depreded by the snow leopard, and another side, the skins of the snow leopard that is posed by the poachers. So the conflict is common everywhere in the snow leopard habitat in Nepal. And this picture is one of the terrible pictures that we got in 2015. In a single night, the snow leopard got inside the corral and killed more than 100 individuals and the individual sheep and the goat in a single night. And this is another picture. This picture I took from the Narfu Valley of Manang. And this is also one of the stories to show the severity of the human snow leopard conflict in Nepal. So why conflict exists is because the community share the pasture land with the prey base of blue sheep, and it also shares the habitat with the snow leopard. So the conflict is very common. You can see the huge herd of the blue sheep, and you can also see the huge herd of the sheep and the goats, and the snow leopard and the yaks and the blue sheep, they grazing together. So this is the scenario that promotes the conflict in the mountain. And the conflict exists because the community don't have the predator-proof corral. Yeah? They just construct a corral like this. You can see there is no roof at the top, and it is easy to get snow leopard inside the corral. And just the cattle, they trap inside the corral, and just in a single night, snow leopard can kill dozens or numbers of the cattle or the livestock in a single night. So this is also another corral that is constructed by the local community, and just in the night time, the calf of the yak is just inside the corral, and it is also not a predator proof. So it is very easy to kill the livestock by the snow leopard. So you can see the figure of the livestock depredation in the last 6 years, and you can see the number of the individuals. The total individuals of the sheep and the goat killed by the snow leopard in the last 6 years is more than 400, and more than 445 horses, and more than 300 yaks, joe, and the cow. And this figure doesn't include all the livestock depreded by the snow leopard in the mountain. Yes, these are only the registered case, yes, in the conservation area authority to claim a relief support from the government, yes. So besides this, many people don't come to the government because, yeah, it's very, the process is a bit difficult, and they have a very difficult terrain, and even they have to work more than 2 days just to claim the relief support. And this is the figure that shows the conflict from different predators. Out of them, the snow leopard is on the top. In Annapurna Conservation Area, the livestock depredation is mainly from the leopard and the snow leopard, and even these days from the wolf, but the community says the livestock depredation is from the snow leopard, even if this is from the wolf, yes? So we have very low number of the depredation from wolf, and in the top you can see the snow leopard is there. Yes, this is the figure to show the amount of the damage based on the minimum cost of the livestock, yes, in last 3 years, and it is more than 110,000 US dollar. So it is a huge loss of the mountain community, and they have received the relief support of about 15,000 US dollar, which is less than 15% of the actual loss, yes. I calculated this amount based on the minimum price, that minimum price of the sheep and the goat and the cattle in the mountain. So to mitigate this kind of the conflict, this shows the severity of the human-wildlife conflict in the mountain. I have a very short video clips. Yeah, just look carefully. You can see snow leopard getting out from the corral, and the people are just waiting to welcome snow leopard from the corral. Yes, the snow leopard is coming. Yes, this is what happened inside the corral, yes. There's so many goats, and it was in May 2021. It is in the Narfu Valley of Manang, where I have been working for snow leopard conservation, and I am also working for my research. Yes, this is a very terrible story. So, yeah, sometimes community ignores the small things, and it is a problem for them, and it is a quite huge loss. And finally, they got a compensation relief in a single night. Snow leopard killed about 45 sheep and the goat in a night, and the herders got about 3,500 US dollar as a compensation relief support. The snow leopard was trapped inside the corral by the community, yes, until and unless we go there and we make a commitment for them to provide a compensation relief support, yes. Once we committed them to provide a compensation support, they release the snow leopard, yes. Otherwise, it would die. Or yes, to mitigate this kind of conflicts, we have been working with the local community. And first, we started with the installation of the solar light. It worked for some time and for a year. And later on, snow leopard become used to it, and they start coming again in the corral. And then we moved to the fox light, yes. And we started with the fox light, and it also worked for some time. And right now, community are also complaining that this is also not the effective way to mitigate human-wildlife conflict, or to keep the snow leopard away from the corral. And nowadays, we have been also working with the construction of the predator-proof corral. In the top, you can see the predator-proof corral we constructed in Manang and Mustang. And the corral is, in the foundation, it's a stone masonry, and then we have a gabion wire in the top. This is very expensive, yeah. It's not a mobile predator-proof corral, so it's very expensive, and the community cannot afford. And with the limited resources, the Conservation Area Authority and the other also cannot afford this kind of corals in the whole pasture land. These are only few community-based corals, and this is for the community. Yeah? We provide this kind of coral for the groups, not for the individuals. Yeah? And nowadays we have been working on this kind of the predator-proof coral. This is a bit cheaper and also easy to transport from one place. This is a mobile kind of predator of corals. So these are some corals we have been constructing in Annapurna Conservation Area. In addition to this, we have been also working with the community for the alternative livelihoods like tourism and the other different kinds of the options. And we have also introduced, our government has also introduced a compensation relief support policy to mitigate human-wildlife conflict in Nepal. For the sheep and the goat, we can provide maximum up to $100 for the depredation of the sheep and the goat, and up to $300 for the depredation of cow and yak and the joe. And similarly, we have also practiced, trialed a community-based insurance scheme in some places, but that is not that much effective. I will comment it on later. And similarly, we have been working with the community, and we have been supporting their children for the education, providing a stipend for them, for those who are a victim. And this is just a very simple example of the community-based insurance scheme that is adopted in Narfu Valley. We tried this kind of community-based insurance scheme, but it is not that much effective because of the management issues. It is a voluntary work. And we have a snow leopard conservation committee over there, and the snow leopard conservation committee is collecting some registration fee from the local people, and they're distributing minimum amount of relief for the depredation. And besides this, we have a regular conservation education program. We have designed a very separate curriculum for the school level students to avoid them about the human-wildlife conflict and overall conservation issues. And the curriculum is for grade 6, 7, and 8 students. And we take them to the mountain, and we conduct with different activities. I have seen here a legendary conservation scientist on the snow leopard. He is here, and we worked with these activities with the Snow Leopard Conservancy and the other stakeholders in collaboration with other stakeholders as well. Yes, finally, I come to another side of the human-wildlife conflict. I told you that there is two ways of conflict. We have livestock depredation from the snow leopard, and equally the poaching of the snow leopards. Sometimes people poison the carcasses of the snow leopard, and they just kill a snow leopard as a retaliation. Yeah. And in addition to this, sometimes people put snares in the passes, to trap the snow leopard. So we have launched different kind of activities to mitigate this kind of the problems. And we have also mobilized local community forming the community-based institutions for the anti-poaching operation, and to collaborate with local community. And we also collaborate with the security forces who are much more responsible for the crime control. And we have been working with different stakeholders to minimize human-wildlife conflict in the mountain. Finally, I have listed some of the learnings based on the experience from our side and from the community. There is no single measure that can address the human snow leopard conflict or the human-wildlife conflict as well. So we need an integrated approach for the management of human-wildlife conflict. The first one is to mitigate human snow leopard conflict. We have to merge the herds. We don't have that much larger herders in the mountain. We have small holders, so we have to merge them to increase the effectiveness of the herding system, so that we can reduce the livestock depredation in the pasture in the daytime. And similarly, we can improve the corrals they have, just to mitigate the conflict in the night, yes, when they are inside the corral. So if the corral is predator proof, we don't need to lose that huge number of the livestock in a single night. Similarly, government has already introduced a compensation relief support policy. So these policies need to be implemented properly, and we need to go to the community in time to provide them a relief support based on the guideline. And the final one is we need to go to the community. We need to interact with the local community always and need to hear their voice, so that they can be positive towards us for the conservation of the snow leopard. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok. That was a very, very nice presentation. We do have time for up to 3 questions, so please.
Thank you, very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about the community insurance scheme and why it didn't work?
Yeah, actually a community-based insurance scheme is a different scheme we adapted in the very rural area of Annapurna Conservation Area. And we encourage local community to register their livestock, and for the registration they pay a minimum fee for, let me say, for 100 Nepali rupees less, it's about $1 for the registration of the yak above 3 years. And yes, it's a voluntary organization, yes. They have been registering for the livestock, and the Snow Leopard Conservation Committee is mainly responsible to collect the registration fee. And yes, the amount of the relief they are getting is very minimum, yes. So if you have a 50 horse, you have to pay 5,000 Nepali rupees, and they are not that much interested to work on it, the local herders. So the voluntary kinds of things doesn't work that much, though we provided some support from our side, from the Protected Area Authority. So I think government should be much more responsible, and the insurance company need to be introduced there, and we need to go in the different model, yes, to get it success. So just people, they don't want to register their livestock because the amount they are getting is very minimum. And even the Snow Leopard Conservation Area Management Committee, it's a bit tedious job, yes. So you need to have, you need to allow the community to register their livestock every day, and the institutions and the person engaged in the institutions need to be busy on that kind of thing as well. They are not paying, yes. So it's a bit difficult, yeah. That's why it's not working properly, yes.
Thank you so much for such an interesting presentation. So the livestock insurance scheme and compensation, it is working pretty well in Pakistan, where we worked in Baltistan region. And it's one of the famous examples that we usually give to the outside world that is working pretty well in those areas. What do you think? Is it the social and cultural values that this scheme is not working well in Nepal, or is it some kind of corruption is involved, or people are not willing because of the pressure of the authorities? Because usually in Pakistan, the insurance fund is managed by the local communities, not by the government.
Okay, so I think this might be a learning here, learning for us as well. So we can discuss it later on, and then we can get your story, yeah, so that we can replicate it in our context as well. Yes, actually it's not a cultural issue. I think it's about a management issue, yeah. I think so. Yeah. So this is not working, and people are, right now they are getting a compensation relief support, yes. So it's a bit better than the community-based insurance. In the community-based insurance, they get just about $20 or $30, yeah. From the government, they are getting about $100 or $50. So it's better right now than before.
Thank you. Have you ever considered maybe implementing a early warning system? But that requires to collar the snow leopards, and you erect towers in close proximity to your livestock, and when the leopard comes in close proximity, it will send a SMS to the people, or via text message or whatever. You know, be careful, the leopard is in close proximity. Have you maybe thought of implementing something like that?
Yes, actually, I think it's very difficult to collar every individual of the snow leopard. Yeah, so you can collar only few, 5, 10, 20. You can do that, but it's very difficult to collar every individual and monitor them. Yes, so I think this is not that much practical, in my opinion. Yes, if we have some other measures, yes, like some repellents to keep the snow leopard out of the livestock, that would be better. But it's very difficult, yes, to collar individual and every individual, and yeah. So
thank you, Ashok. And I think we should come back to that question, because just the cost of it is so so inhibitive. I think one collar is roughly around $7,000. And then on top of that, you have roughly $100 a month of payment. So it just becomes very prohibitive. Instead, a lot of people would say that, invest that resource into it. But anyway, we'll come back to it. I think we'll have some time towards the end. Thank you, Ashok. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I'd like to...